Well, hello, boys and girls. Or, as my Uncle Alan from Ireland would say, well, well, well. Here we are again for a second mighty tale of metal. If you have seen our first tale, or if you haven't, then, well, just scroll back and go and get it. It's well worth it. But today, we have another very special and unknown story. Lean back and enjoy. There is no good if there is no evil. There is no sun if there is no moon. There's no logic to this. There is no brightness if there is no dark. And you don't need to fear this story. Once upon a time, a long time ago, a little boy in Britain had a very, very, very sad childhood. His dad had left before the boy was born. So his mother had to raise him as both mom and dad in one person. So once upon a time, the boy used to be a boy. A real boy. That means he was a little bit rough and cheeky, and his mother punished him by locking him up into the cellar. Well, that is not very nice, but she was a truly loving mom, just a little bit distracted and overworked. These things happen. And that cellar was not just a cellar. It was more like a dark crypt. And it was really dark. I mean dark. And it was scary and wet and dripping and moist and humid, and most of all, it was very, very scary. Well, it appeared to him whenever he was sitting down there that he could hear steps or voices. Was this a mad ghost or the spirit of his long-gone father? But nothing happened, and although nothing happened, the boy was scared to the bone. Time went by, and winter was coming. Really? Winter was coming. I guess now they're going to turn this into a TV series. Oh well. So, back on track. The days were getting shorter and the nights were getting longer. With each day that Christmas was coming closer, drawing nearer, it was getting darker and darker, outside as well as inside. And our little boy became even more scared and frightened. Those days that should have been filled with joy, expecting Santa and presents and being cozy, were actually a never-ending nightmare to a little hero. If you are scared now, well, you can, hide. And then came the night before Christmas. It was the darkest night of such nights in many, many years in Britain. And the little boy woke up at witching hour. It was pitch black in the room. And in the center of the darkness, the little boy heard footsteps that were coming closer, drawing nearer and nearer. That's when I have to turn the page. Scared to death, he sat there shivering when suddenly he heard a voice. And that voice was actually warm and very friendly, and it said, "Hey, Steve." And then the voice said, "If it's dark at night, everything is actually the same as during daylight. There's just no light there." That was a very thoughtful thing to say. But he also said, "Don't be afraid of the dark, my son." Steve smiled. And the friendly ghost, who wasn't named Caspar, by the way, continued. "But if you're still afraid, then there's one mighty thing that might help you forever." And Steve got very curious about what the spirit of his dad had to say. And he told him, It's music. Great music, great songs, true and hard. Steve nodded, and in the next moment the spirit of his father was gone. But he left something, a pencil and a blank sheet of paper. So on that night before Christmas, in this night Steve wrote a song named Fear of the Dark. And since then he has never been afraid anymore. I'm going to have a word with that elf who bought this book. Anyways, this is how our story ends, and there will be another one, another tale on next Sunday. So now you just have to take this. See you soon.